Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode with the Business Boys, William, Hamzeh, and I. Today, we're diving into the nitty-gritty of 2024 UK Spring Budget.
Well, you're about to find out something at the end, so.
Oh my god, have I made the wrong choice?
Oh no!
I've prepared something for you.
Are we going to be in recession in 2027? So it's forever recession.
The budget this year is especially important because of the upcoming elections and because the UK fell into a recession at the end of last year. But before Hamzeh and Will gets into the financial aspects of it, let's break down what a budget even means to us normal folk.
The UK Spring 2024 budget was just announced, but what is a budget?
A budget, in simple terms, is like a financial plan for the entire country, put together by the Chancellor of the Exchequer, kind of like the UK's finance minister. It outlines how much money the government expects to bring in through taxes and other sources, and how much they plan to spend on different areas like healthcare, education, and infrastructure.
Think of it like a household budget. You estimate your income from your salary and maybe even savings, and then figure out how much you can spend on rent, groceries, and maybe even some fun stuff.
Exactly. The budget does the same thing, but on a much, much bigger scale. It affects everyone in the UK, from individuals and businesses to the overall economy.
And the budget announcement is a big deal. It's a chance for the government to set out its priorities, stimulate the economy, and maybe even give us a little tax break.
All right, boys, sounds like we're prepped, so let's break down the key points of the 2024 spring budget. Starting with tax measures for businesses and individuals, the spring budget 2024 introduces significant changes. So, according to KPMG's breakdown, there's a consultation on expanding full expensing to include plant and machinery for leasing, aiming to stimulate business investments. Additionally, there's an enhanced tax credit for independent films and a reduction in the higher rate of capital gains tax on residential property disposals, providing incentives for property transactions.
That's right, Kev. In addition to that, the government plans to reduce employees' Class 1 national insurance contributions from 10% to 8%, providing tax relief for workers.
Moving on to the broader economic outlook and fiscal policies outlined by the UK government, we see optimism despite challenges. The economy has shown resilience, with forecasts suggesting strong growth and falling debt levels. Tax cuts have been implemented, including reductions in national insurance, leading to the lowest personal tax rate since 1975.
Expanding on key economic indicators and government policies, as outlined by The Guardian, the budget forecasts a growth rate of 0.8% in 2024 and 1.9% in 2025, with the inflation expected to fall below the 2% target. The government borrowing is forecasted to decrease annually until 2028 to 2029, reflecting fiscal discipline.
In terms of public services and investment initiatives, additional funding of £2.5 billion has been allocated to the NHS in England to improve performance and reduce waiting times.
Not everyone's as business literate as you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you had there. Support for small to medium enterprises includes raising the VAT registration threshold and introducing new tax reliefs for creative industries. Moreover, the introduction of new investment vehicles like the UK ISA for equity investments aim to stimulate business investment.
Thanks, Hamzeh. So I think the UK budget for 2024 reflects a strong strategic approach to navigating challenges and capitalising on opportunities for economic recovery in the UK. A major aspect of that, though, is tax and how it will affect workers. So let's take a deeper look. So there are actually lots of tax changes coming in the spring budget. So I thought it might be interesting to take a deep dive into personal tax changes. So if anyone watching pays tax, this might be worth having a listen to.
So, firstly, national insurance cuts are planned to be introduced. The national insurance is paid by workers above the age of 16 and helps contribute to the state pension, job seekers allowance, maternity allowance, and so much more. There are slight differences in the cuts depending on your circumstance. For instance, the self-employed workers will be receiving greater cuts. However, for a standard employed worker, a cleaner earning £21,000 may now be £340 better off in April 2024, and a teacher earning £44,000 may be better off £1,270 because of the changes.
The government estimates that when considering the tax cuts to national insurance in autumn and this new cut announced for the spring budget, this is a total tax cut worth over £20 billion per year, the largest ever cut to employee and self-employed national insurance.
And to understand how these changes will ripple through time and affect the future, We can see that workers earning £35,400 will save an average of £1,400 per year in 2028. So these are really long-term plans. So people listening are probably wondering, why has the government made these changes to national insurance? Well, the short answer is that the government is attempting to incentivise workers to work more. The government expects that in 2028, total hours worked in the UK economy will increase by 100,000 full-time workers. Considering the autumn changes as well, this means a total of 200,000 full-time workers will be added.
Furthermore, the Office for Budget Responsibility expects that policies announced at this spring budget and the previous two fiscal events will increase the size of the economy by 0.7% by the year 2028, overall producing 300,000 full-time workers and boosting business investment by £14 billion.
The government isn't just cutting tax, though they are also implementing a wide variety of measures. They're going to be cracking down on those who avoid paying tax. They plan to do this by increasing the HMRC budget, and they expect these measures to raise over £4.5 billion of additional tax revenue by 2028-2029. The government will also be introducing a new duty on vaping, introduced from October 2026, that will discourage non-smokers from taking up vaping and raise revenue to help fund public services like the NHS.
Breathe air. You don't need a vape.
This new duty will raise £445 million in 2028 to 2029, and tobacco duty will also be increased from October 2026 to maintain the current financial incentive to choose vaping over smoking. This will raise a further £170 million in 2028 to 2029.
So there are lots more tax changes that we couldn't quite run through in this section, but if you'd like to read further, make sure to check out the government website to go through all the tax changes, or you could even check out the Deloitte tax calculator just to make sure you're getting the support and tax incentives that you should be.
Thanks, Will. Let's talk economics. The UK economy fell into recession at the end of 2023 after 2 consecutive quarters. Each quarter is a 3-month period of negative economic growth. I know you can't really see it on this graph, so let's look a little closer. Here we can see that the UK GDP fell by 0.3% in the 3 months leading to December 2023 compared to the 3 months to September 2023. If we look at this on a quarterly basis, there are 2 consecutive falls in GDP, a fall of 0.3% in quarter 4, October to December 2023, after an unrevised fall of 0.1% in quarter 3, which is July to September 2023.
That sounds about right. Looking at the monthly GDP, it is estimated to have fallen by 0.1% in December 2023, following a growth of 0.2% in November 2023 and a fall of 0.5% in October of the same year.
Exactly, and it seems like this last-minute decline in the December 2023 GDP was primarily caused by the services sector pulling overall GDP down to minus 0.08%. So I wonder, what could have contributed to the declines in the service sector in such a short period of time?
Well, the largest negative contributors were reported to be a fall of 0.6% in the wholesale and retail trade, repair of motor vehicles and motorcycles subsector, a fall of 0.8% in education, I know, right? A fall of 2.4% in other service activities. And finally, just to illustrate exactly what occurred in the service sector, this image shows us how the wholesale and retail trade and repair of motor vehicles sector significantly pulled down GDP within a month. And of course, combined with the other 2 sectors, such as education and other service activities, it does justify the immediate decline.
Well, it's very insightful, Hamzeh. Now we know exactly who to blame. Looking into the future of the UK economy, it doesn't really look promising. Although the UK 2024 budget plan does state that we should see a GDP growth of 0.8% in 2024 and a 1.4% increase in 2025, the Bank of England's recession forecast from 2022 onwards seem to state otherwise. The bank expects the recession to run relatively deep with a peak and trough contraction of 2.25%. Even worse, it is also indicated that the recession after 2023 is expected to last for 5 consecutive quarters, as long as the 2008 recession. Hamzeh, is this you telling us now?
You can actually go and look at the graph.
It's information I needed.
You can actually go back and look at the graph if you want.
But, I mean, just look at this figure. It gives me chills. But let's hope that 2024 budget plans will counter the recession we're facing at the moment. And that's a wrap, folks. We've delved deep into the UK's 2024 spring budget, unpacking its impact on taxes, economic growth, and vital sectors like healthcare and education. As we face challenges like recession and upcoming elections, understanding the budget strategies is crucial for steering the economy towards stability and prosperity. So stay tuned for more insightful discussions on the Business Boys podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell icon. So until next time, stay financially savvy and take care.